Ngani? Good afternoon, honorable members. It's
Good afternoon, sir.
it's 1 o'clock.
Recording in progress.
We have agreed that our meeting is going to start at 1 o'clock today. Welcome all of you to the meeting. We have Mkhwanazi in this meeting, who will take us through the apologies.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon to members and colleagues. I have no apologies from members of the committee, but I have one from Dr. Talo, my manager. She has a doctor's appointment, but she undertook to join us as soon as possible. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, the senior counsel, Mkhwanazi, is also concluding consultations with.
Chair, we
you have joined.
Yeah, we haven't concluded. We were with Minister Kachalia, but yeah, we've made some arrangement to resume later to conclude. But
Thank you.
Myself and Maria are here. Larato is on her way from Joburg to Cape Town, so she apologizes.
No, thank you so much, senior counsel, for making yourself available for this meeting. Honorable members, can I check if we have apologies to record on the part of the members? I'm not seeing any hand, Mkhwanazi, on my part or on the part. I don't know if there is any member that I may not see his or her hand. They can just speak through the microphone. But on my part, yes.
No, I was going to say that from this side, I don't see any. It might be that some members are a bit delayed because they had other committee meetings, I mean.
Okay. Yeah. May you please fly the agenda here? Okay. Honorable members, we are going to give you progress report on the consultations and preparations for the hearing. In the main is the matter which the committee mandated us to go and engage with General Mkhwanazi and possibly the commission to see if we cannot secure him before the 22nd of September. We will give a progress report on the work that has been done. We would have wanted to also include the item on the involvement of the crime expert, which we circulated with the members. So far, we have not received any indication from the members of the committee. How do they feel about the matter? So the members can decide if they want to have the matter being discussed today, or if you want to still think about it, you will advise accordingly as to what your view is on the matter. So I'm going to leave the agenda open like that for members, so that we don't delay the meeting. If there is any member who may want to share their views about the involvement of the crime expert, we can take that after the progress report would have been given. Is that okay, honorable members? May we proceed with the meeting?
100%, Chair.
Yes, Chair.
Yes,
So-
Chair.
Thank you so much. Bonani, can you please take us through the short report on the consultations and the engagements with Honorable General Mkhwanazi and the chair of the commission?
Thank you, Chair. The update is going to cover communication that we had with General Mkhwanazi, communication that we had with former Minister Bheki, and then there was an issue that arose about alternate members who either attend or don't attend the meetings of the committee. And then just a report on the follow-up that we made with the JSCI. With regards to General Mkhwanazi, the update is that we sent him a letter again requesting that he appears before the committee on the 6th of September. He responded to say that he's still not available due to commitments with the Nhlanhla Commission. He indicated that he is busy with consultations that will lead to him taking a statement, and those consultations will conclude on the 12th of September. And then on the 15th and 16th of September, he will be preparing for the hearing with the evidence leaders. And his testimony at the commission will start on the 17th. And it is anticipated that it will last for 5 days. With regard to General Masemola, we can report that he consulted with the evidence leaders on the 5th of September. And then a further consultation is scheduled for tomorrow. Minister Mkhunu will be with the evidence leaders on Friday for consultation. With regard to General Sibia, his consultation is scheduled for the 15th of September, but he has since written to us to request that the consultation with the evidence leaders should be held virtually instead of being physical in Parliament. I think that is a matter that the legal team will address with him. The next one is Minister Kachalia. As Advocate Arens indicated, they consulted with him today, and as he said, they are still going to talk to him. Dear Matale, his consultation was on the 8th of September, and I believe that has been concluded. The same applies to Dear Mushielo. With regards to Mr. Tsele, we sent a request to appear on the 8th of September. He has not yet responded. The due date is today. So maybe if we get any response today, we can update members, even if it is via the WhatsApp group. I think with regards to the witnesses, that's all that we can report, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, No, thank you so much, Mkhwanazi. I think the other part is that the chair of return to the ad hoc Mkhwanazi be allowed to conclude the work with them. I think it's just to reinforce the responses that we have received and the engagement that have happened so far. Let me check with the senior counsel if he may want to make any addition on the report that has been given.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, honorable members. Yeah, I don't know if other than to confirm that except for Becky Kelly, we haven't confirmed a date for a meeting to discuss a statement, get a statement, but we have had positive interactions with the people who's on the list identified by the committee, and as reported today, we saw Acting Minister Kachalia. Tomorrow we'll conclude with General Nhlanhla, and on Friday we're meeting with Minister Mkhwanazi, and we've met the two deputy ministers. Yeah, and as far as General Mkhwanazi is concerned, we have some concerns about the arrangements, Chair, because we've now been told that we as evidence leaders will get a copy of his statement to the Commission only on the morning of 17 September, that is just before he starts giving his evidence to the Commission and to the public and the media. That means that we in terms of that arrangement, we can't share it with the committee. Also because the statement belongs to the Commission. It was obtained by the Commission evidence leaders and not by us. It will then mean that although we'll have some insight into what he told or what he will be telling the Commission and the public and the media, we will have to wait until he concludes his evidence, which is likely to be on the 22nd of September. In turn, that is going to mean that we will only be able to engage with him on behalf of this committee, the Honourable Committee, after the 22nd of September. We have to prepare our statement. Obviously, we'll be assisted by the fact that there'll be ground that the Commission has already covered, which we don't have to cover. But we have to interview him with a view to our terms of reference and not the Commission's terms of reference. So that might take another few days. We will then have to make the statement available to honourable members, to the committee, to prepare before he's heard. And that is likely to take us into the first week of October. And you know, we find that is problematic for us. We have tried to make various suggestions about how we could overcome this, and we've had engagements with the evidence leaders, but the chairperson of the Commission has written to you, and you know, they've said he's not available right up until the 22nd. We were hoping that perhaps after hours or over the weekend, we may be able to consult with him and to prepare our own statement. That's not possible. So I think it's important for us and for the committee to discuss what are our options. If the terms of reference strictly interpreted, strictly applied, means that we must start with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, then it means a start in early October, to be realistic. We've been interviewing witnesses. A number of these witnesses' statements will be ready during the course of next week. We feel that we're ready to start earlier, definitely by the 22nd of September. But this will require the committee to revisit the terms of reference and indicate a more flexible approach, because we have to accept, I think the committee now will accept today, that we cannot start with Mkhwanazi until at least towards the end of September, beginning of October. We are of the view that we should perhaps start earlier with other witnesses. We, in our engagements thus far, consulting with them, taking statements, that there's a lot of information which are relevant to the terms of reference, which speaks to the terms of reference, and at the conclusion of which will put this committee in a position to give effect to its mandate and report to Parliament. We are different from the Commission. The Commission may or may not finish their work by the end of the year. The Commission must then still report to the President. He is obviously not obliged to act on the report. In the meantime, Parliament, in terms of its own, in terms of the separation of powers, has its own work to do, its own oversight role to play, holding the executive accountable, that there is sufficient evidence thus far from what we've heard to give effect to its terms of reference. We've earlier mentioned the issue of an expert. We could also start with, if the committee is minded to make provision for that, we could start with the expert on the 22nd of December. That evidence was likely to take, we don't think, longer than a day. But we could follow that up with calling General Masemola, the current minister, the minister who's on special leave, the previous minister, Minister Kele, the deputy ministers. So those are the options. The one is, and the option one, which is starting with General Mkhwanazi only late September, early October, is that we may again run into problems and sort of follow the leader after the commission, because we may again be told at that point, no, you can't call this witness or that witness because we are busy with that witness. That witness is going to be called by us next. So we've got to wait. In my own conversations with certainly one of the evidence leaders, and obviously it's not binding on the commission, that evidence leader didn't seem to have any problems with us making a start by calling one of the other persons, witnesses, who they most likely are also going to call in future or after Mkhwanazi gives his evidence. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. Members, that is the report. We have worked overnight with the Senior Counsel, thinking about many options that we had before us, if it was going to be possible to have General Mkhwanazi over a weekend. I remember the last time I was even suggesting if it's possible that they could do a telephonic consultations, like General Sibia was suggesting that they could do consultations telephonically with him, or maybe even consultations at night after he shall have concluded his daily routine at the commission. We did not seem to be succeeding. It's unfortunate that General Mkhwanazi has to be torn between the commission and us. And we were working within the framework of the terms of reference. And that is why now the Senior Counsel is presenting other dimensions. So what is presenting, it means the committee, if it feels that time is running out, we can't wait for the 22nd. It means we will have to change the terms of reference and agree that we can take any of the witnesses that are available. But I'm mindful that the committee stressed its decision in the last meeting that General Mkhwanazi is our first witness. So we will then have to wait until he is available. And I would also like to persuade the committee members to have the understanding that the institutional arrangement that we have between the ad hoc committee and the commission may pose difficulties as we move forward, if you hear what the Senior Counsel is saying. Because once they finish with Mkhwanazi, it means they may want to call the police commissioner. Unless if at the time we have Mkhwanazi, they will be busy with the police commissioner. I don't know what their arrangement is going to be. But if the consultations and the proceedings are not properly managed, we will have Mkhwanazi and work with him. After we are done, we will have another interval because they will say, no, we are now busy with so and so. But what is unfortunate is that all the witnesses are likely to find themselves in an unfortunate situation which is not of their own making. And we have to provide leadership here and say, we do not wish to have any South African court between us and the commission. These witnesses are willing to appear before the ad hoc committee in as much as they are also willing to appear before the commission. And whatever decisions that we take must not make the lives of ordinary South Africans difficult. We are the leadership of this country, and we must show that we can represent their interests as ordinary citizens. They may not have the powers and authority that we have, as Parliament or as the Commission. But our decisions must show that we recognize them as citizens, and we are willing to represent them to the best of our abilities. Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. I want to thank you for the additions. Honorable members, I think you got the report. I'm going to rotate you to hear your comments on the report. Are we ready? Let's start with the ANC.
We are ready.
Thank you so much.
We are ready, Chair.
Thank you so much. Let's start with the ANC.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon to all colleagues and the legal team and the team from Parliament and all of us who are in this meeting. I think, Chair, thank you very much for the feedback and the report that we've received. And I must say that I'm happy that there is a sense that we are interacting with the people that we need in order to ensure that our work begins without any avoidable delays. I want to reiterate the position we have taken in the past meetings, that it will be in the best interest of the ad hoc committee and Parliament in general that we begin with Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi as the main witness before the ad hoc committee. Because as we said before, it is through his testimony that the network is going to be clearer for us, or the direction that we need to take in terms of other potential witnesses more and above the ones that we've already identified on the basis that they are either occupying offices within the police department or have done so in the past. So I think it's going to be crucially important that, in my own view, we remain with that position. The second point is that I want to suggest, Chair, that you should have a discussion with the Commission of Inquiry to address exactly the point that you are saying is uncertain, to understand their plan and their sequence, so that we can avoid a situation where once we receive and engage with Mr. Mkhwanazi, we then have to wait for another week or day, or whatever the case may be, in order to receive the second witness. My own view is that once we've received a presentation from Mkhwanazi, I want to suggest that we do not become steadfast about who exactly has to follow him. I know that in the course of our discussion, we have sort of gravitated towards, I think, saying it will be him, it will be the National Commissioner, and so forth and so forth. But I want to suggest that in order to ensure that our work is not in any way stalled by whatever the Commission of Inquiry is actually doing, once we have heard Mkhwanazi, let's invite any of the other witnesses who are available, rather than following any particular sequence. And I'm making this suggestion, Chairperson, more and above the earlier suggestion I have made, that which is to request you to engage with the chair of the Commission of Inquiry, so that you can have a sense of how they are intending to sequence the witnesses who are going to appear before the Commission of Inquiry. But my own view is that I think it should not be a problem for us, once we have heard Mkhwanazi, to decide that, okay, we can't get the commissioner, but we can get the minister or the acting minister. We simply proceed, or Spear, whoever that becomes available. I would want to suggest that we should consider that approach as soon as we've received the the main witness. Thanks.
So can I say to you that maybe towards our proceedings with Mkhwanazi, let's meet as a committee and determine or decide if we want to review the order in which, remember, the committee has passed the terms of reference that it will always decide on the sequence in which the witnesses appear. Maybe the latter part of your suggestion will then have to wait for that time when we get closer and make that decision if we want to review the sequence. Does it make sense?
No, it perfectly does, Chair. Perfectly makes sense. I would make that proposal at that point. Thanks.
Thank you so much. May I please request, is the ANC done?
Unless if any of my colleagues want to make an addition, me, I'm done. I don't know, Kola and Togozil.
Honorable Sam, okay.
No, Chair, were covered by the chief.
Okay. May I please request the MKP to give a view?
Thank you, Chair. And good afternoon to all my colleagues here. Yeah, my concern now, Chair, was what I've heard from Linda when he said that former police Peggy Tele was supposed to appear on the 8th. I'm not sure whether he was the consultation is done or not done, because what the SC was saying is different from what Lindani was telling us earlier. That is expecting Tele to perhaps respond by today. But he said that he was supposed to have appeared on the 8th. Now I'm a bit, I don't know, maybe later you will explain exactly what does that mean.
No, just
Number
to clarify.
three.
Let's clarify it before you proceed, Honorable Skosan. What the technical team does with the witnesses that we have identified is not to give them dates of appearance, but to set with them days on which they can do consultations. What they do is they first write you a letter and request you that you must have responded to them by a particular date. And then the second date that they put will be a date that they suggest you come for consultations with them.
Chair, let me reiterate again, because I've listened to what Linda said. Linda said Peggy Tele was supposed to appear on the 8th. But let's say it's fine. But I'm saying that now. But let's continue, Chair. My other issue, Chair, you were given a mandate as well yourself to consult with the chairperson of the Judicial Commission. And I thought that you've already spoken to him in terms of sequencing, maybe even some other witnesses which we want them to appear before us are not necessarily going to appear at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry. And if they are going to appear, all of them, like we have asked them to appear before us, I guess that they will have been given you the list by now. I mean, we've spoken about this, not today, last week, that you will be engaged with the CHEP and see whether the SC or yourself, will be engaging with the commission to find out exactly how can we deal with the matter of Mkhwanazi for him to appear before us. And I think that's where we agreed that by the time you come back to us, you'll be able to be telling us exactly what is the chairperson or the list of those people who are going to be appearing to the commission. It's public knowledge. There's nothing secret about this, unless they have not drawn up a list, of those witnesses they want to appear before them. But I think it will have helped. Then there won't be any disturbance to any committee here or commission to say these ones are going to appear on this particular days, or these are the proposed dates. But be that as it may, I guess that as chair, please try to make this thing possible as much as possible. Because as members, maybe, if we decide to change what we agreed upon, the terms of reference, we should be unfortunate. But when I look what the SC has presented to us here, saying that maybe towards the end, if we have to wait for Mkhwanazi, because we wanted him anyway, and I still maintain that we must have, Mkhwanazi first. But if we are going to start after the 22nd, or maybe towards the end of October, or at the end of September, or towards the first week of October, which means we won't be able to finish on the 31st. There will be, obviously, from the word-go, that we have to ask for extension, which we might finish up maybe around the November, end of November, or in December. But if you can as well, if he's available, on weekends, because I guess that we can do that as well on weekends. Maybe the consultation starts now, because for us to say we are going to take a copy from the commission, which is not binding. The evidence leader made it very clear, and Honorable Saul was saying no, it's not true. It's true, as the SC was saying as well. The commission has to, once they finish, they are going to take that report to the president. What the president does with that report, it's up to him. So we're gonna wait for this. For me, Chair, honestly speaking, it's unfortunate. I don't want to use the wrong word. It's very, very unfortunate that we're gonna wait for something which is not binding at all. Instead of doing our work now. I thank you, Chair, and I'm not sure about Nomvalo, my colleague, if he has anything to say.
Yeah, Jali, Honorable Nomvalo, I will give you a chance. What the senior counsel says is that the terms of reference of the ad hoc committee and those of the commission are not the same. So even if we were going to get a copy of the statement that would have been deposited at the commission, it will only help them as our legal team to start preparing. But the general still has to make a sworn statement that is in accordance with the terms of reference that the ad hoc committee has passed. That is essentially what is saying. So when General Mkhwanazi, let's say the senior counsel, our senior counsel gets the sworn statement on the 17th of September, like the commission.
I think Honorable Kozana failed to take
Okay, Jali. I was trying to clarify the points that you made here. If our senior counsel gets
I think you must call him.
So,
I'm making a mistake. And I'm worried that is going to leak a lot of things now.
Yeah. Okay, no, it's fine. Let's leave it there, Honorable Nhlanhla. What I was trying to say is to establish the understanding that the senior counsel for the ad hoc committee says they are likely to get the statement that Honorable Mkhwanazi would have deposited to the commission on the 17th of September. That statement cannot be taken holas polas to the ad hoc committee. It has to be retooled so that it responds exactly to the terms of reference of the ad hoc
Chair, you are muted, or is Mills out of the meeting?
I think he's muted.
That is what will make the work of the commission easier. Honorable Nomvalo, your hand was up.
Yeah, but you got cut, Chair, during your explanation.
Oh no, I was saying that the report of our senior counsel shows that they are likely to get the statement by the 17th of September, the SON statement. But that SON statement will not be taken holas bolas to us because it will not be responding to our terms of reference. So they have to rework it, get into consultations with him and refine it to respond to our terms of reference. So members must not expect that once the senior counsel gets that statement, it will be easily available for the ad hoc committee. But if members of the ad hoc committee still request it, for what purpose, I will not know because it will not be responding to our terms of reference. So yeah, but we stand to be guided, and let's work towards that time, and we will continue to engage with the commission, like honorable members are indicating here, so that the process becomes smoother as we move forward. Honorable Nomvalo.
Covered by Honorable Skosana.
Are you covered?
Yes, Chair.
The DA.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to everybody. Chairperson, I would certainly like to see all the affidavits that are available, even those made for the Judicial Commission, because as we all know, it's very important to have a consistent story, and so we need to check all of the affidavits of all of the people that we call to for purposes of consistency. So that's one important aspect, and I would certainly like to see them. With regards to the order of witnesses, Chair, I fully understand.
Honorable Breitenbach, the first point, so that it does not become elusive, you suggest that it is desirable that we get all the affidavits.
All of those that are available, yes, Chair.
Okay.
I would like to see them.
Oh, okay. You
And
may
then,
proceed.
Chairperson, with regards to the order in which we call witnesses, I fully understand the desire to call Mkhwanazi first, and that would be the ideal situation, because the thing starts with him. But it's not essential, Chairperson. It's only ideal. If we can't have him and we start with somebody else, we know what he's going to say. He's going to say what he said at the press conference. If he says anything different to that, that's problematic. So it's not as if we're working in the dark. We know what he's going to come and say. And so while it is ideal to start with him, if it means that we're going to be held up for weeks and months, then I would suggest that we forego that ideal situation and start with someone else. Because we can't keep on postponing and postponing and postponing. We're going to already have to ask for an extension as it is. If we don't get started before late October or November, that's going to be a real problem. I'm happy to work, as I've said before, on public holidays, on weekends. That's not an issue. You may find that other people are not so happy to work. So, bearing in mind that we have a job to do and we need to get it done, we may have to reconsider the order in which we call witnesses. Thank you, Chair.
The EFF.
Thank you, Chairperson and colleagues. I should put it on record that it becomes very clear as we proceed that certain people don't want Mkhwanazi to appear before this committee. And they use all manner of excuses to make sure that he doesn't appear before this committee. Others even sing the loudest in a pretentious way as if they are his number one defense force. But deep down, they don't want him to appear before this committee. That's why you can't even revoke sanctioning him, because if it doesn't come, the better. Some of you forget how this committee came about, and many of you opposed the existence of such a committee. And now, because of whatever reason this committee is here, you start finding a way of juniorizing it. What does our committee have to do with the Commission of Inquiry, which is toothless? It's not binding. It can't bite. Why did we put those things in terms of in the terms of reference that we can subpoena a person? There was someone's wife who appeared before one of the committees here, and the husband is here. When she asked for postponement or for this or that, everything else was rejected because there was huge interest on her. And she was reminded that we can even proceed without you. But because you don't have interest, you pretend like you have interest, and you create an impression that Julius has got something to hide. How can I have something to hide when I say someone must come before the committee? You must decide what you want. You must decide whether you want Mkhwanazi before the committee or you don't want Mkhwanazi before the committee. And if you want Mkhwanazi before the committee, in the terms of reference, there are mechanisms to get Mkhwanazi into the committee. Mkhwanazi told you, I'm not coming to you, even before there was an actual date of the commission. That's how junior you are. And you want us to participate in a committee like this that has been juniorized? There is some senior committee called a commission. We're being juniorized. You have turned this committee into a toothless body. It is going to be the most useless body. I'm not even sure if some of us can continue participating in such a committee that agrees on something and do something else. Mkhwanazi, subpoena does not mean Mkhwanazi is wrong. If you don't know English, it's none of my problems. It's none of my baby to feed Malta Bella. Mkhwanazi must be subpoenaed because what Mkhwanazi said is important and cannot be postponed for a day. It's very urgent. But all of a sudden, even if Mkhwanazi becomes the last, that's fine. We can look at other people. Why? Because you don't want the truth. And you create an impression that you want the truth. You don't want the truth. I am here to seek the truth. That's why I'm saying Mkhwanazi must be subpoenaed. Mkhwanazi must come. We have nothing to do with the commission. We can never use a material of the commission in our committee. Mkhwanazi must write an affidavit directed to our chairperson, and that becomes a document of our committee. Any other thing is a hearsay. We don't want that. We want that which has been said to us by Mkhwanazi and the rest of them. I don't know what you're doing with Deputy Minister Sirin. To show that you want to make this thing useless, you have put in deputy ministers with no powers. I don't know what they're going to tell you. I don't know what you want to get from those people. You are getting deputy ministers because you want to render this committee useless. That's what you're doing. And we don't agree with any of the proposals. We don't change any terms of reference. We want Mkhwanazi as number one. If you can't get him through lovey-dovey approach, subpoenaing, we are not doing anything outside the terms of reference. And then how can a person who started the allegations be the last one to testify? What are you going to use? With due respect, Honorable Bredenbach, we cannot use what has been said on TV. We cannot use that. We can use what is in the affidavit, and that affidavit must have an oath. So who are you going to question based on what? What is before you? We need something before us. And the person who can give that is Mkhwanazi. He has to come. Even if it means stopping half the way to go and appear into the commission, finish, come back, that's fine. But he has to come to us. Without Mkhwanazi, we're toothless, we're useless, we don't know what we're talking about. Someone is alleging here. You go and ask someone else or Baru, you did 1, 2, 3, or go and ask the person who said I did that and give you a proof. They say Sibia has stolen or taken the dockets. That's one of the allegations. Of course, we know the dockets have been returned or whatever the case might be. We are going to go to Sibia and say to Sibia, where are the dockets? I never took any dockets. Rino, what do you mean? He says, go to the person who says I stole the dockets to give you evidence that I took the dockets. It doesn't work like that. As an advocate, Honorable Bredenbach, you know that. It doesn't work like that. There has to be a person who makes the allegations. We have to test the allegation. We have to test the evidence of the allegations. On the basis of that, summon people because we now have something that gives us at least a prima facie to can engage these people. I rest my case.
Can I check if we still have a further speaker from the EFF, Honorable Matthys?
No, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. The IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon, honorable members. I tend to want to agree with the contribution made by the Chief Whip, but also emphasize the fact that the speaker before me has made, that it would be very difficult for us to make any headway before we have met Mr. Mkhwanazi, because Mr. Mkhwanazi's contribution and Mr. Mkhwanazi's statement will actually show the way for this committee going forward, because we can't subpoena anyone else, or we can't call any other witness before we have met Mr. Mkhwanazi, because then he will provide us the basis of information that we will work on. I thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mwango. Can I check the PA, Honorable Sols? The Action SA.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm sitting here and I'm so shocked this morning by what I've heard. Why did we spend all that time with the terms of reference? Based on what has been presented to us this morning and what we've been told, it is clear now that we are being dictated to. It is clear that we are the underdogs, and it is clear that we are now becoming like a subservient right now. We have forgotten our role. We have forgotten our responsibilities. We have declared ourselves, like Honorable Malema says, completely toothless. I cannot believe right now that we are considering how and when to do this when we have spent so much time with the terms of reference. I cannot believe right now that we are saying that it doesn't matter when General Mkhwanazi comes to appear, and it doesn't matter whether he's first or last, his statement cannot change. What he has said on television cannot change. Then why are we here? Are we not meant to probe his accusations? Are we not meant to investigate as per the terms of reference? Then we might as well take the statement and take everything that has been publicized in the media and use that to generate findings in this committee. If that is being said, I am shocked to hear that that statement was made. I'm also saying that, why are we saying also that, you know what, let's call Mkhwanazi whenever he's available to come, forgetting that we also have the powers to subpoena, to summons people here, and then saying we can call whoever else, anyone else thereafter. Whether you have a criminal mind or an investigative mind, but I think it's common sense that whatever General Mkhwanazi presents and tells us calling of the next witness needs to be intentional and it needs to be strategic in terms of linking these statements and in terms of actually having an outcome that will give us results. We can't just go haphazardly right now and just call anyone whenever because we are now being dictated to. I am really not happy. It feels as if at this point, like this is a complete waste of time because all we've been doing since this committee has started, we have been getting our lead and getting our instruction from the parallel commission that is running. I'm very unhappy about this. And Chairperson, can we start doing what we've been mandated to do? Can we start realizing our power as Parliament and realize that we have the role, we have a binding role to play here? Thank you.
Honorable Vessels.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairperson. It's my view would be that it's not ideal that we do not start with General Mkhwanazi. But Chairperson, we won't probe the allegations that he made by interviewing him. We're going to probe the allegations that he made by interviewing other witnesses. Yes, by interviewing him as well, but the majority and the actual probing of that evidence will lie in other witnesses and other evidence, obviously.
And Mkhwanazi.
I said, and listen.
No, Honorable James, we can't behave ourselves like that.
There's also a view, and there can also be an argument that it will be the best to get General Mkhwanazi to testify last. And the reason why I'm saying that is a lot of the witnesses, a lot of the other witnesses that we will call will, at the end of the day, will obviously say and will counter and will say the opposite of what the general alleges. Thus, to get him last, he will be able to respond to those counter allegations made. So that's another argument. It's another view of the matter. Chair, we said, and it was said in the committee, and it was decided that the ideal would be to, and it will be, that he must testify first. Practically, that's not possible unless we decide to subpoena him. But now the practicality of it is that the commission will also subpoena him. Or maybe they have, I'm not sure. Maybe the senior counsel and yourself can also help us and assist us in that regard. But the fact of the matter is we shouldn't be, the ideal would have been that we would be first. And in that instance, if we were first and we were faster with this whole process, we were before the commission, it would have been the ideal to have him testify first, as we've said many times. But now the commission has jumped us. They are first in line. They set dates, and now we have to work with this. Either we subpoena him and we force him to come before us as quickly as possible, and we now lock horns with the commission, or we decide to get him, stick to our order, have him first, but then we are only going to start in October, which means we are not going to finish by the end of October. Or we be pragmatic and we say, let's take certain other witnesses as quickly as possible, and we hear what they say, so that we call Mkhwanazi and we interrogate what they said to the contrary of his allegations, and we actually can be more productive than the commission will be at this stage. So, Chair, I think we must be pragmatic and let's do this committee as quickly as possible and not be delayed. And let's follow the approach. That would be my view, to get the other witnesses first and get General Mkhwanazi as quickly as possible, but let's get the other testimonies and let's interrogate them. It's not going to make a difference in what order it's done, because it will be on record at the end of the day. Thank you.
Yeah. Honorable members, I'm going to request you that we must not move in circles. I think the report that has been presented here is straightforward. One or two decisions to be made. The first decision, which I'm rotating between the parties, do we reaffirm? Okay, or do we want to review our position with Mkhwanazi being our first witness? We have taken a decision here as the committee that General Mkhwanazi must be the first witness to appear before us. Do we want to review that decision? ANC?
No, Chair, I mean, it's very difficult for me really to think of any rational basis or any cogent arguments why we should review a decision of inviting the very first person who brought about our existence. And I'm very uncomfortable, Chair, just a second. I'm very uncomfortable with statements that are saying we know what he's going to say. I think it's very difficult for some of us to accept that, because we know what he said in public. We don't know what he's going to say to us until we meet with him. So our view is that there are no basis for us to change the decision to start with him. Thanks.
Okay. So the ANC reaffirms. Thank you. The MKP?
Yes, Chair. I just want to repeat as well what I've said earlier, that it would be ideal to stick to what we agreed upon. You know, other thing might be problematic. You know, let's try to have Mkhwanazi, whether weekends or whenever. Let's have him and agree with the chief whip when he says that. When the chief whip says
he's our first.
Yeah, but listen, Chair. Yeah, listen, Chair. What I'm saying is, I agree with the Chair to say we should not even cast aspersions to say what is going to represent to us. He'll only present what was said only on the press conference. We don't know. You know, let's have him straight, not from the commission. Commission is doing their own work, which is not binding. Where the president, as I said earlier, let's stick to what we agreed upon. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. The MKP reaffirms. The DA?
Chair, we'll go with the majority view, but we prefer to take the pragmatic approach.
Honorable Bredenbach, do you reaffirm or do you call for a review?
I thought I'd made myself clear, Chair. We'll go with the majority view, but we prefer the pragmatic.
Okay. Thank you so much. The EFF?
We agree that they must appear first.
Thank you so much. The IFP?
Honorable Chairperson, we want to reaffirm our original position.
Thank you so much. The PA? The Action SA?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, even what we're doing now is not progressive. Does this mean that whenever we're going to have a hurdle, we're going to go back to the terms of reference and ask if we still agree with what we've agreed on? It cannot be, Chair. Right now, we must be coming up with solutions and having a round based on what our options or what our solutions. We have the terms of reference. We've agreed on that. Why are we now having to ask political parties to reaffirm and to say whether we still agree with what we've already decided on? This is a complete waste of time. But yes, Chair, as Action SA, we agree that General Mkhwanazi must be the first to appear. Thank you.
Yeah, that is the difficulty of chairing a meeting of politicians, because you put a simple report on the table. And politicians don't speak to the report, they speak to the terms of reference that we must review. That's why I'm asking you if you want to review a decision. It's not the chairperson who says review the decision, it's yourselves when you speak in this meeting. The Freedom Front Plus.
Thank you, Chair. No, that's the majority view, and that is the terms of reference. I think the issue here was that the senior counsel suggested that to be pragmatic, it might be better to review that. The majority feels it's not, but that is why I said we have to consider, because the Honourable Malema said it's unacceptable that we are being led by the Commission and that we are being dictated by the Commission. That's why I said then we will have to action and decide if we subpoena General Mkhwanazi to appear in front of us whenever we want him, regardless of when he's in front of the Commission. And that's the decision that we have to take, Chair.
Okay. Then we have reaffirmed the decision of the committee that General Mkhwanazi is going to be our first witness. So I believe that we will no longer move in circles going this way, that way. We now know what our decision is. The second question, does the committee, in the light of the report that has been, the progress report that has been presented here, and the requests that have been made by General Mkhwanazi and the Commission that he complete his work there first and be available after the 22nd of September. Does the committee want to subpoena General Mkhwanazi to appear before September 22? The ANC.
Chair, I just want to go back to where we started when we were discussing this matter, because I think to just answer the question yes or no may not be helpful, not only to ourselves, but to the public who are following us as we discuss this matter. In one of our meetings a few weeks back, or last or one before last, we had a discussion on this matter. And we recognized, and I thought this was a common recognition by all members of the committee, that the pace at which we reach out to the first witness, which is Mr. Mkhwanazi, was slightly behind his interaction with the Commission of Inquiry. And I thought there was a recognition on our part that it is not because of his own making that we have not met with him up until today. It was because we need to clear our own processes, firstly, and secondly, because, I mean, it's the second meeting we have today with our legal counsel, who are supposed to be the one that are in the front line of helping us to secure and prepare the witnesses to appear before this ad hoc committee. So my own view, Chair, is that I don't think we've reached a stage where we must subpoena because he is not willing to come. Somebody makes a point earlier, or made a point earlier on, that what if we subpoena somebody who has been subpoenaed, wherever is appearing on the 17th or whatever the date may be, in fact 17th, which is next week. My own view is that I don't think that we would be acting rational if we say in the first instance we've made to interact with him and he made it clear that he's willing to come to us, but he has already committed himself to something else, which has to do with the same pronouncement he made on the 6th of July. Therefore, we must impose ourselves using the law, the power we have in terms of the law, which is to subpoena him. So we really would like to see Mkhwanazi appearing before us as soon as today, if not yesterday, Chair. But we are not convinced that to subpoena him will expedite the process because he is undermining us. We don't think that is undermining us. And we are of the view that let's allow the process that is already unfolding, led by our legal team, and have Mr. Mkhwanazi appearing before the the ad hoc committee not later than, I think they were saying the 22nd, if not the 24th of September. So we are not of the view that every stage is to be subpoenaed from our point of view as the African National Congress. Thanks.
The MKP.
Thank you, Chair. I will reiterate once again to say, Chair, speak to the chairperson of the commission that we need General Mkhwanazi to appear before us, because all these perceptions which is developing, and it will develop around the country, that perhaps we are scared or perhaps we are not willing. We have Mkhwanazi, people are hiding issues and whatever. Let's have Mkhwanazi tomorrow if it's possible and deal with this matter once and for all. If he take us to court, because remember, he's a citizen of this country, if perhaps he feels that we are not fair to him, he might take us to court. So be it. But for now, let's have Mkhwanazi as soon as possible. Because if we start with anyone else, I guess because perhaps the SC Arenze, I understand that he wants us to start to deal with these matters, but really it will be really unfair as well to South Africans and us here that will be starting with the people who did not make allegations. A person who made allegations and he substituted them is General Mkhwanazi. Let's have him try your best. Let's get this thing done. Thank you.
You have not answered the question, because I must not come back here and give a report and you say we said you must go and talk to the commission, or you are making a second fiddle to the commission. I am asking the MKP, is it desirable for us to subpoena General Mkhwanazi? You have received the report, yeah?
Can I come in?
Honorable Number.
Yes, Chair. No, I think to a certain extent, we align ourselves with the chief whip of the ANC, because we have been raising concerns here in this committee. We're on record complaining about the pace under which we are working. And that has been mostly triggered by the technical team. We've been complaining about a stagnant pace. And we are where we are today because of that. At no point where General Mkhwanazi has shown that he has no interest of coming to the committee. The only reason that he's giving for him not to come to the committee is that he is going to the Commission of Inquiry. So that is not a sign of refusal. It's not an indication of refusal. He's just saying to us, I'm committed elsewhere. And the reason why I'm committed, I'm prioritizing where I'm committed currently is because I was approached by them first. So I think it would really be irrational. I think in instances where you can apply or subpoena people is where there are signs of refusals, where people are not cooperating, where they are saying, no, I won't come to that committee because I don't think that I should come. But here, there is an indication of a commitment that I'm committed elsewhere. Like we said on our previous meeting that maybe the chair should try to persuade the technical team should try to persuade him and see if maybe she can try to amend his schedules and let us have him first before he goes to the Commission of Inquiry. We agree, Chair, that it's undesirable that we are under the current circumstances. But we should not look for an easy way out, Chairperson, and shoot wrong people, because he has not said, I don't want to come to the committee. He wants to come to the committee. We only differ on when he should come to the committee. It would be ideal, really, to have him before the Commission of Inquiry, And if means are still available, except sending a subpoena to him, then maybe we can try those means, Chair. But we don't agree with a view that we must subpoena him. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nomvalo from the MKP, the Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Chair. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually agree with Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah.
Honorable Breitenbach, are you done?
Yes, Chair. I'm in a state of shock, but I'm done.
It's done, Chair, but in a very unprecedented way.
Is it for the first time the DA shares the same view with the MKP?
No, not at all, Chair. This is the first time that I agree with Honorable Nomvalo.
Or is for the first time you and Honorable Nomvalo?
No, she's taking issues of the Justice Committee to this ad hoc committee, Chair.
Okay, no, I understand. Thank you so much. May I take the EFF?
Let's subpoena General Mkhwanazi on the 15th, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. The IFP?
Well, thank you, Chair. I don't think we agree with the route to subpoena. No, we don't subpoena him for now.
Okay. The PA? The Action SA?
Chair, let us subpoena General Mkhwanazi in the best interest of the public, and we want to know who is distributing drugs in our communities. We want to get this process going. We cannot delay. Thank you.
Honorable Vessels?
Thank you, Chairperson. I made the point earlier that most probably the Commission will also subpoena him or has already subpoenaed him. We're going to play back and forth, and it's not rational. I agree with the Chief Whip and also with the Honourable Nomvalo that it's not that the General does not want to appear in front of the committee. We moved at a too slow pace. I said that earlier as well, and the Commission was first, and that is why I think it's not good to subpoena him. It's not rational, but Chair, I do think we should be on the same page and not be shocked later. We should listen carefully. If we go this route, and it has now been decided that we will get General Mkhwanazi as the first witness, which means that the majority feels he should not be subpoenaed. We're not going to subpoena him, which means he's going to testify in front of the Commission, which means that he will only be able to consult after the 17th, which means that we will only be able to start with a hearing in the first week of October, most probably. And I think we must be on the same page with regards to that and not be shocked later when it's not that is appearing, that we think that if we go this route, that he's going to appear on the 22nd. That's not what's being said. If we go this route, he's going to appear in the first week of October. Thank you, Chair.
No. Thank you so much, honorable members. You have spoken sufficiently on this matter. May I please give to the EFF to get their reply. Honorable members from the EFF, the majority of the members in the committee do not see the route to subpoena as desirable. May I give you a chance to reply?
I don't understand why would someone say the Commission has already subpoenaed General Mkhwanazi, therefore we can't subpoena we must not subpoena because it's undesirable, but it's desirable for other people to subpoena. It's irrational, it's unreasonable. So the reality is that, and I'm doing this deliberately because I know you are scared for Mkhwanazi to come and appear before that committee. And if it was of your own making, Mkhwanazi was not going to appear before that committee. So you are playing with the public, you established a committee, creating an impression that you are doing something when you are doing nothing. You are busy over nothing. So the reality of the situation is that you don't want Mkhwanazi. And even when that time comes, you are going to start other excuses. There is nothing that stops Mkhwanazi from coming to us. You have now created an impression that this commission is bigger than us. And we as parliament must be going to the commission. The commission people never say, let's go to parliament to hear what that parliament is saying. But because you are scared, you feel so inferior, you don't know what you are doing. You want to be checking with the commission because you can't stand on your own. So we maintain that Mkhwanazi must be subpoenaed. And a person who doesn't appear before your committee won't say to you, I want to appear before your committee, hey, and I'm defying. Where have you ever had that? They are going to give you all manner of reasons. And one of the reasons is the reason we're given. No, I'm busy with these other people. A person postpones you without a date of a commission and agree to appear to a commission which does not have a date. It only announced the date a few days ago. And you accept that as being reasonable. And you accept that as not something that you can subpoena on. I know you don't want to subpoena because you don't want General Mkhwanazi to appear before the committee. When I spoke in this committee last week, they were saying, yeah, why is he attacking Mkhwanazi? He's hiding something. I'm not hiding something. That's why I'm saying Mkhwanazi come. Even if he comes tomorrow, we want him to come. The South Africans must decide whether they want Mkhwanazi to come before the committee or not. It can't be when we're trying to get Mkhwanazi as soon as possible to appear before this committee, it means we're hiding something. That is the highest form of stupidity, Chair. We'll be bound by the decision of the majority.
Thank you so much, Honorable Malema in the EFF. Honorable members, we have taken a decision that the route to subpoena General Mkhwanazi is not desirable, given the reasons that have been advanced by committee members that General Mkhwanazi is not refusing to appear before the committee. Unfortunately, he finds himself in the situation that he is because both arms of the state, Parliament and the executive, have appointed an ad hoc committee and a commission respectively, which makes his life as a citizen of this republic very, very difficult. So we will wait, honorable members, for General Mkhwanazi to be available to appear before the committee. The technical team will continue to do its work. And then remember, we have not identified the second batch of witnesses. And the senior counsel has reported here that they are planning to conclude consultations with the witnesses that we have identified possibly next week. So it will be desirable that immediately after the first batch of witnesses, their sworn statements have been concluded and are made available for committee members. We may also need to meet and decide what do we then do so that once we start with the proceedings with General Mkhwanazi, we do not have intervals that are unnecessary. And I have also said that we circulated with you to check whether you you want to invite a crime expert before yourselves at any point which the committee may decide that we want to invite the crime. If you want to invite him after General Mkhwanazi has made a presentation, or you want to invite him before the presentation, it's a decision that the senior counsel has presented here. So far, we haven't received any feedback from the committee members, and I'm going to allow you the next 3 days until Friday to think about the matter, and we get your proposal so that when it comes here, we must be able to make a decision. If committee members feel it's not necessary, they can indicate so that no, we think we are okay. And if committee members feel that it's something that is worth exploring, they can also indicate and say, but we can try it, Chairperson. Then in the next meeting, we should be able to finalize it. Can I check with you, Senior Counsel, if there is anything that you want to say?
No, Chairperson, honourable members. We've listened attentively to to the discussion and the contributions made, and we obviously abide and respect them, and we'll continue doing our work. And I do think that what I think it was Honourable Breitenbach who mentioned that you would still want the other statements in advance. It's not necessarily covered by the terms of reference, but in the event that you do want some statements in advance of these witnesses giving evidence, then you can so direct and we'll make them available. Oh yes, just also it's not necessarily a correction, but just to be clear about General Mkhwanazi's statement to the Commission. That will not, we cannot make that available. Only the evidence leaders are receiving it on the 17th. His statement will only become available, I suppose, as it would to the general public and the media once he has concluded his evidence. So his written statement will only be available on or before the 22nd of September. And that is why we said we are somewhat hamstrung. I know that you, in your discussions with me and me with some evidence leaders, we said, look, can't we meet the general after hours or weekend and see whether we can't finalize our statement and maybe get to start at least a few days earlier. But I think one must understand he's under a lot of pressure. He's busy with advocates the whole day giving statements, and it's quite tiring. So it's probably unreasonable to expect him to also be available after hours and weekends. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I'm seeing 2 hands here. Honorable Lee Matthews and Honorable Nomvalo.
Let me not show my vote EFF t-shirt. I'm at by-elections, Chair. Chair, just quickly, you know who we forgot to include in this round was the NDPP, because she forms part of the government or the executive that we wanted to be part of it. So I think we need, or we can add her to this first round of witnesses. It's very clear then the terms of reference that we also need to deal with the National Prosecuting Agency, also correctional services. But at this stage, I don't think there was anything that has been circulating, particularly on correctional services. But you will remember that the NDPP did do interviews and made a variety of claims about corruption, etc. So I think that's something that we need to add to the first round. Also, Chair, and this is just pretty much on housekeeping. I don't know exactly the content or how the letters are being written, I think, but from the sounds of it is that we are asking witnesses when they are available. I think we need to move away from that, and we need to have a schedule that when we write to them is that you have been you are required to attend between this date and this date to consult with the evidence leaders, and on this date, this is when you are going to appear before the commission, rather than asking when people are available, etc., etc. That doesn't mean that it's a summons, but it's an expectation that you need to make yourself available. And that might be one of our biggest problems, why even Becky Cele hasn't even responded, because we should have written to him by now and have said, these are the dates. So let's work on our calendar. When they need to appear before the evidence leaders and get the statements, when they need to appear before us, and in that sequencing. And tell them the dates that we need them, not ask them when they are available, because that is what is making us look like we are just some clumsy committee working at the mercy of the commission. Also, we need to start engaging witnesses almost immediately and not wait. But you mentioned that, Chair, that we need to start on the next round. So let's do that. Let's put the dates when they need to appear before the evidence leaders, when they are going to appear before us, and we send them letters to that effect. No nice letters of please tell us when you're available, when you're coming back from Milan, etc. And then just, Chair, it's really shameful that the commission is telling us that when and how they are going to release the Lieutenant General. And I think you as a chair, I mean, we having the dictate to us who give oversight. It's even worse that this commission, it's nothing binding. We know that it is open, and commissions are generally just open to extensions. Look what happened to the Zondo Commission, billions rands later. We are the portfolio committee. We want to close this. That commission must release him and let him come and appear before us, and then he can go back. We can't be playing second fiddle to a commission that can extend at its beck and call when and how it wants to do that. And I think you as a chair, as Parliament, we must be able to take a firm stand and not look like an idiots that what we are now. Even we had already even requested these things late, but we must put our foot down. There's nothing there in that commission that stops them from releasing him to come and appear before us. And Honorable Malema said nothing that he doesn't want to appear. The issue is that we are stuck between the commission and the executive that is trying to force him to come there for whatever reasons, and we know what those reasons are, instead of coming here first. And that is the issue. And I think us here as Parliament, this is where we need to put our foot down and say, no, he must come here, because we know how those commissions operate, and we are not going to operate the same way. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nombalo.
Thank you very much, Chair. Sorry, I didn't realize that I muted myself. Honorable Matthias covered me, Chair, on this one of a content of our letters that we sent to witnesses, that they must be directive, they must not be apologetic or give a leeway to witnesses to decide on whether they come or they don't. A letter must have a date, venue, and time. And then the second one, Chair, relates to what has been said by the senior advocate with regards to statements. I think we're leaving it hanging. Chair, I didn't hear your summary on it, because he said that there is a statement that we await as the committee from the commission. And there was a contending view from one of the members here, I think it was Honorable Malem, that the committee must not rely on the material, which I agree with, on the material of the commission. I think we must have a clear direction on that, Chair, and not leave it hanging, because the senior counsel or the legal team, rather, should take directives from us and only come in when there's a need for legal guidance. But in terms of how we operate, I think predominantly such must be determined by the committee. So what is our position on that, Chair, on the issue of statements? And we agree with the view that we should not rely from any material from the commission. We must initiate our own documents. Like we ventilated the issue of the approach that we must use, whether we should use legal aid and so on. We were doing it for that purpose, that we must have adequate support for witnesses so that you are not going to donate our responsibility to other institutions such as the Commission of Inquiry. So I would like us to have a position on that, Chair, a clear position. Thank you.
No, yeah, we have a position on that, Honorable Nomvalo. You remember when we emphasized and re-emphasized the matter that anybody who comes before us must deposit a sworn statement with our legal team. And even today I said it in this meeting that even if a sworn statement might have been made with the commission, that sworn statement does not respond to our terms of reference. So each and every statement that will be coming here, it's a statement that will have been deposited with our legal team in terms of our terms of reference. But furthermore, you would have heard that Honorable Bredenbach has also requested that whatever information that may assist the committee to do its work, if it's possible, that information must be made available to the ad hoc committee members. But that is additional information, and your understanding must be that the basic documents that will be made available for committee members are those that would have been deposited as sworn statements with the ad hoc committee's legal team. And whatever other material is available is additional to that. Correct? Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you, Chair. No, Chair, I'm covered by the two speakers, including you, Chair. But however, there's one thing that I think is selling a move. Chair, the committee, eyabantu, akuyona yethu South Africa as members of parliament or parties, but eyabantu, and eyona ebalulekile between the two, which is the commission and the committee. Sonke sesiyazi ukuthi i-commission is going to be focused entweni yokunikeza upresident umbono noma lento abafuna ukuthi ayithole, but everything they do and say would never be binding. We all know that, Chair. Therefore, it means the importance of this thing, of this Mkhwanazi issue, lies with us as a committee. Therefore, Chair, I think I should ask you in your capacity to say, I think you must engage with the commission to at least work ngendlela yokuthi bangasidisturb, because right now, Chair, what we are going to be doing Nhlanhla is more important about the South Africa. But I think how we are working with the commission is disturbing us. They first gave dates to Ubaba Mkhwanazi without them even having a venue to sit. So I'm asking, Chair, and pleading with you, if it is within your powers, to maybe engage with them, Chair. Sihlonipha abantu base South Africa, sibanikeze into ekuyiyona, because between the two, one is going to waste money, South Africans, to get just umbono wabantu, just that. And this one is not going to waste money, but it is going to deliver something that is impactful, and decisions that are going to be taken here. Parliament is going to act on that, Chair. So I think, Chair, let's utilize this chance ukuthi sicele wena uhambe uyokhuluma nabo, maybe have some sort of an engagement ukuthi singadistebeki when we call people. If it may be, we should take uba number one ekubize nabantu, because we are not wasting any money and we are not looking for any advice or umbono for this. We are going to deal with this matter and take decisions other than the other side. I'm not disrespecting the other side, but Chair, abantu base-South Africa kudinga ukuthi bahloniphe and hloniphe ngisho imali yabo nesikhathi sabo. I think Chair sicela usiphakamele nje uyokhuluma nabo. Siyabonga Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Shongwe. I want to thank you, honorable members, for the contributions that you have made in this meeting. And I also take the emphasis that there should be continuous engagement between the ad hoc committee and the commission, so that the work of both the ad hoc committee and the commission progresses without any hindrances. We have heard you, and we will try our best to keep that line of engagement open. Honorable members, we have come to the end.
Chairperson?
Hello?
No, maybe just before you close, there were two other issues that maybe the committee might also want to reflect on. There was that issue of alternate members, and also there was just a short update on the letter that we had written to the JSCI.
Okay. The issue of the chief whip has requested that we must clarify the issue of the alternate members. Andile?
Maybe, Chair, maybe before Andile comes in, maybe if I can just report on the letter that we had sent to the JSCI requesting access to information that they have. Yeah. As you can see on the screen, the committee is saying that they are unable, as guided by the Act and the rules of the JSCI, to disclose any intelligence, information, or documents in our possession regarding matters concerning SAP's criminal intelligence to the ad hoc committee. We have noted the need to assist the ad hoc committee and to avoid duplication. In this regard, please be notified that sub-CI matters as raised by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi were considered and are monitored regularly as part of our oversight mandate. So basically, they're saying that they won't be sharing information with the ad hoc committee. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Andile, can we get the report on the status of the alternate members?
Good afternoon,
Chair.
Chairperson.
Chair, I have my hand up on that matter before we move to the next one. Can I be recognized?
Yeah, those are the only two matters. We will take the round of discussions.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Andile?
May I come in, Chairperson?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Very, very clear.
Thanks, Chairperson. Good afternoon, Chairperson. Good afternoon to the members, and greetings to my colleagues as well. Chairperson, if you look at the House resolution on the establishment of this committee, dated the 23rd of July, 2025, paragraph 7C reads as follows: therefore establishes an ad hoc committee in terms of Rule 253. The committee 2 consists of 11 members as follows: ANC 4, DA 2, MKP 2, EFF 1, and other parties 2. So, Chairperson, what this does, it puts paid to the composition of them. So this committee chair has got only 11 members. We're not talking about membership. Now, Chairperson, who are the members of this committee? If you look at the ATC, Chairperson, dated the 30th of July, 2025, for the African National Congress, for instance, it's Mr. Khanyani, Mr. Ntuli, Ms. Sangoni, Mr. Nhlanhla. And then for the Democratic Alliance, it's Mr. Cameron, it's Ms. Bredenbach. And for MKP, it's Mr. Nomvalo, it's Mr. Skosano. For the EFF, it's Mr. Malema. And for the other parties, as reflected in the resolution, Chairperson, you've got Mr. Mwango for the IFP, and you've got Mr. Sols for the Patriotic Alliance. Now, Chairperson, who are the alternates? For the ANC, it's Ms. Sokanyile. And then for the DA, it's Ms. Barnard and Ms. Speakerling. And for the MKP, it's Mr. Shongwe. And for the EFF, it's Ms. Mateus. And the other parties, Chairperson, as the alternates for other parties as reflected in the resolution, it's Mr. Vessels for the Freedom Front Plus and Ms. James for Action SA. Now, Chairperson, alternates, Chairperson, as the word denotes, are stand-ins or substitutes. Rule 156, subsection 2 of the NA rules provides that an alternate acts as a member when the member for which the alternate was appointed is absent or has vacated office until the vacancy is filled. What this means, Chairperson, is that alternates may speak on a matter before the committee, subject to any reasonable restrictions the Chairperson may impose. However, alternates may not vote except when the vote is cast as an alternate in terms of Rule 156 of the NA rules. Simply put, Chairperson, the 7 alternates are not members of this ad hoc committee, but are alternates for members, and their membership is only triggered when the members for which the alternates were appointed are absent or have vacated office until the vacancies are filled. This, in our view, is the import of any Rule 156. In terms of Rule 157, subsection 2 of the NA rules, an alternate for a member ceases to be an alternate if a whip of the party to which that alternate belongs or a designated representative of that party gives notice to the Speaker in writing that the alternate is to be replaced or withdrawn. However, Chairperson, on a proper interpretation of the NA rules, because this Chairperson arose in the light of non-attendance by Mr. Vessels. However, on a proper interpretation of the NA rules, Mr. Vessels and other alternates, Chairperson, are not members of this committee. Mr. Vessels is a stand-in, a substitute, or an alternate, and therefore he is not duty-bound to attend all committee meetings. His attendance is only obligatory when he acts as a member, when the member for which he was appointed is absent or has vacated office until the vacancy is filled. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Yeah, what do those provisions mean, Andile? Are you saying that every time we meet, we must be 11 in the meeting as a committee?
No, Chair. Alternates, Chair, are not members of this committee. They don't have voting rights, Chairperson. I think that's the point we're making. But of course, the other point we're making, Chairperson, is that they may participate in committee meetings subject to any reasonable restrictions the Chairperson may impose. So I think definitively, Chair, what we're saying is that this committee has got 11 members. If you go back to the House resolution, that's exactly what it says. And if you if you check the ATC of 30 July 2025, it tells us who are the members and who are the alternates. Thanks, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I rotate the 2 matters on the parties to hear your comments? The ANC.
No, thanks, Chair, and thanks to Andile and the team for providing clarity on this matter. Chair, I want to suggest that on the first issue, Nhlanhla, if he's still on the platform, I would like him to comment on our behalf on the first issue relating to what the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence is saying about matters of intelligence and the extent to which they can work with us. On the second issue is the one that I would like to be a bit substantive on. I think the first point I want to make, Chair, is that in the light of this explanation, and I posed this question then, not because Honorable Vessels was in and out of the meeting or attended and did not attend, and at some point there was no apology. No, it had nothing to do with that. But it had to do with a matter of principle. When you are a committee of 11, my understanding is that, as has been reaffirmed by Andile, the alternates are permitted to attend the meeting, including to participate. But the first area of restriction that I think we need to agree on, and for you, Chair, to impose on our behalf, because I think it will be a rational restriction, is that when you are doing a round robin, like we are doing now, ANC, DA, MK, PART, and all of us, to confirm what positions we are taking on the matter, I think it's important for you to take into consideration the fact that alternates and the parties they represent can be counted as part of the decision, because technically a round robin of each party confirming this or against technically is it's an indirect way of voting, or it's an indirect way of you as a chair that helps you as a chair to ascertain where do parties or members of the committee stand on a particular question. So I would like you to take that into consideration, that when we are debating on a matter, I think it's quite reasonable and rational that the other honorable members must be permitted to debate. And I have no problem that at some point, and it might have happened in the past, it might happen again in future, that in the course of the debate, the weight of the arguments advanced by alternates may be the one that carries the day. I have no problem with that. But I think when you are deciding now and you want to determine where does the committee go on a particular issue, I don't think that it would be appropriate for you to call on the alternates to also have a say on what needs to be done, or in fact to be counted. Maybe they may be called to have a say, but not to be counted as the basis upon which you determine what is the overall position of the committee on any matter. Because if we don't do it that way, then we're going to have a situation where there's a double representation of the other parties, as an example, because the other parties are represented by two members here, Honorable Mwango and Honorable Swords. Now, once you add the other two, never mind which direction they take on the question that is being discussed, but you are then adding on that category of the other parties. Never mind the view the individual members may hold in the discussion when we are deciding in a way that may suggest or may implicitly a vote for you to understand where we stand as parties. That's the point I wanted to make, but I'm quite comfortable with their presence and their participation. I have no problem with that, but I think when we must make a decision, we must adhere to what the law requires, which I think is very explicit what Andile has explained. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. And then, because in the terms of reference, we have also said that during the proceedings, a speaker will be allocated 30 minutes. What is your take on that as well? Do we impose restrictions or what?
I think so, Chair. I think it would be rational for us to agree that we can allocate the same amount of time to the alternates. I mean, the ANC has got 4 members in the committee, excluding you who chairs, because you are a chair, it's inevitable that your role is slightly different from some of us who are representing the ANC in the committee, including in terms of the time that will be allocated. But we are not anticipating that because you are the chair and Honorable Sokanyile is here as an alternate, she should enjoy the same amount of privilege or the same amount of privilege as other ANC members in the committee who are full-time members of the committee, unless if on that day she is there because one of us is not in the meeting. So our view is that you've got to exercise that authority in a way that takes into account who is a full member and who's not a full member. Otherwise, there will be no value in distinguishing between a full and a non-full member if all other things are the same, except that by word we know you are not a full member. Thanks.
Okay. So are you passing to Honorable Nhlanhla to speak on the other item?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Nhlanhla.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think we'll later submit, Chair, to you our view. I'm in transit as we speak. I have returned to the chief. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The MKP. May we have the MKP using their opportunity to speak?
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you. Chair.
thank you.
Oh, it's fine. Numbalo can take.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think on the first one, we are not taking it as it has been reported or it has been replied to by the joint committee. We request that the senior counsel also gives us, because he's here for that, he also gives us a legal advice on this issue, on how maybe we should best respond to it, and on whether the response is legally correct or not, that has been given by the joint committee. Then on the second one, Chair, well, our view is that the rules of parliament must be applicable as they are. We don't have a problem with members, with alternates being part of the meeting, but of course with restrictions. And restrictions only arise in a case of voting. And to a certain extent, I agree with what the latter speaker has said, Chair, that the manner in which we structure our discussions, technically, we make them to be voting processes. For instance, you always say ANC, and by so doing, you are not just doing it haphazardly, but you are doing it for the purposes of consolidating views so that you can make a determination of whether the majority agrees or not. So technically, even though we're not voting by show of hands, but through submitting our views, we are voting. And for that reason, Chair, I would advise that maybe we change the manner in which for some subjects, the manner in which we engage in discussion so that we can also allow alternates to be part of discussions. And then when a need to vote arises, and then now we excuse them and maybe apply the approach that you always apply, or maybe we vote through a show of hand and then we vote as members, not all of us. So I think what might complicate, Chair, this is the manner in which we are running our discussions. And if we say we allow them to continue to participate as it is directed by the rules, then I think a need arises for us to change the approach. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable Nhlanhla, and then what is your view on the 30 minutes allocation during the proceedings? Do we also impose restrictions on alternate?
Yes, I think it's fair, Chairperson, that we impose restrictions.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we still have anybody, any honorable member from the MKP who wants to make a bite? Okay, I take it that you are
Chair?
covered. Hello, Jali.
Are you asking for us?
Yeah, I'm asking if you may want to say something on top of what Honorable Nombalo has said.
I just wanted to say that let's
Yeah,
not change the rules. Let's
but
stick.
before Honorable
Oh,
Skosan,
okay.
You appear to be on a recumbent position on the screen.
No, I've switched it off, Chair. Sorry.
If you can
Yeah.
just readjust the chair that you are using so that you appear upright.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, Chair. Mine is to say, let's not change the rules. Let's stick to the rules, like my colleague has said, and that's it from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Democratic Alliance.
We're comfortable, Chair. Thank you.
That is very diplomatic, Honorable Cameron. Where do you say?
I'm trying to be more diplomatic, Chair.
Yeah. What does it mean? Honorable Cameron. The EFF.
Chair, just on the declassification or of documents. So I'm confused. There's a variety of different, or there's a number of documents that get classified by different departments, and for example, here in the State Intelligence, the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. So maybe we must get clarity in that regard. But our terms of reference are very clear that there is no document that the committee must not have access to. And we must take the lead. If we need to get something declassified, it must be declassified. It cannot be that we are supposed to give oversight to the executive, which is the arms of state and everything that works there. And we are not able to access documents that may obtain criminality and is within our terms of reference. So we cannot accept that. And we need to have our senior counsel be on that and find ways to make sure that if there are any documents that come up that need to be declassified, that we are on it and that it is done. We are not going to be a committee that has no teeth, and we are not going to be able to access documents that have been classified because it's hiding criminality. And we've been very clear about that. That same commission that is even leading us, if you noticed in their press briefing, when they got asked the question about declassification, they even used our exact words that we have in our terms of reference, the issue of declassification. So we don't just want reports. When we get reports on what it looks like or what the situation is, we need our senior counsel, is getting paid a lot of money, I'm sure, and the team to come back and say, this is how we can go ahead and do it. Like we are wasting our time here at the committee because all the crime is in those classified documents. Number two, Chair, is the issue of participating by alternates. We raised this in the last committee. It wasn't so much about voting, but it was more that participating is very important because everyone's constituency must be represented, and we appreciate the attitude that all committee members have taken, that political parties, particularly that are alternates, are able to participate. But we have always understood that voting comes and it sticks to the members. So thank you, Chair.
So, Honorable Matthys, are you also amenable, maybe us inviting apart from the suggestion that yourself and Honorable Nomvalo are making, that the legal team must help us with the response that we got from the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence? Are you also amenable? Are you also amenable us inviting the chair of that joint standing committee?
Absolutely, Chair. But I think that's more behind the scenes work that must be done. So if there's something that we need to meet in our terms of reference, our back office, which includes the legal team, they must be able to work ways on how we are going to be able to do that. And, come and report. But for us to even start off this committee to say that we are not going to have access to documents that is covering up criminality and is within our terms of reference, we may as well just not bother with this committee.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Can we hear the IFP?
Chair.
Or Honorable Malema?
No, I agree with everything, but we forgot to mention, I don't know if we did, that we must, amongst other people we need to subpoena is the IG, Inspector General of the Intelligence, to come and give us a report on the corruption that he found in the crime intelligence. I think it's one of institutions that needed to be interacted with going forward.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm noting that together with the NPA. I will come back to that item. Is that okay, Honorable Malem?
Yes, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you so much. The IFP.
Well, thank you, Chair. I think in respect of the first matter, I think the committee should actually have unrestricted access to all the information that we require to be able to do our work effectively. And if we need to declassify, it will have to be done. And on the second matter, I think we need to abide by the rules of Parliament. Thank you.
Okay. The PA. The Action SA.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if I'm frustrated or if I'm confused or just what, but I'm listening to this and I'm listening to the many restrictions now being imposed on alternate members. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, there are people here that are permanent members that doesn't even participate, that doesn't even bother to say anything. There are members here that's been appointed as full-time members that does not have the interest of South Africans at heart. And I cannot believe that we are now saying that it is up to the chairperson, that he can now restrict the input of alternate members. I understand that Rule 156 in the National Assembly, which deals with alternate members, does not subject the participation of alternate members to the chairperson's discretion. As far as I know, I might be fairly new to all of this, but alternate members don't vote. I get that. But what happens if there's an absenteeism in the committee and we are meant to give input and then we are restricted? So it was okay all along to consult. It was okay for us to make submissions. And now we are even being told that we won't have equal rights and we won't have the 30 minutes that everyone else allows to actually even question witnesses. Then what is the use? We are actually here. And why has this suddenly become such a big thing now, where the focus and the emphasis now is on participation of alternate members, when the focus should be about finding the truth and serving South Africans? And now you are trying to lessen a committee that can have more eyes, more ears, more input from what it is, and saying that we are not actually members of this committee. Are we just supposed to accept that? When we do have constituencies that we represent here today, we might as well just play dead and not participate at all. Because what if I say something on a given day that the chairperson feels that he's not happy with? He then has the right to restrict me. This goes on the first meeting, chairperson. You were the one who actually said to me, and this is not for me, this is for all alternate members. You were the one that said, you know what, we will enjoy equal participation as any other member. These were your words. We will just not be allowed to vote. And now every time we get into a meeting, there's more and more restrictions. Why? Why? Because they know what's coming. That's why.
Shaya.
Okay, Honorable James, I don't think that you can be justified to cast aspersions on the members of this committee to say there are those who do not have the interest of South Africans at heart, because that can never be scientifically
Then
measured.
why want to silence me, Chair? Why don't you want me to participate? Why is it that they can now tell us that you have restrictions, that we will be, in terms of what time we will have, we cannot vote, we cannot give input, you can restrict us. Why? I may not be able to say, Chairperson, but I can think what I want to. There are members that are sitting here with their mouths full of teeth who haven't given a single input, who have said absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but I don't think that you can be justified to do that to honorable members of this committee. It is not correct. When you say members have mouthful of teeth, did you expect them to have hollow
Chairperson,
mouth?
did you see what is unfolding in the Western Cape? Did you see that people are dying on the hour? Did you listen to General Mkhwanazi's allegations of drugs being circulated and distributed in our communities? Are we still meant to be diplomatic about what is unfolding? I didn't cast any aspersions. I'm saying to you how we feel and what is happening. We had agreed on the terms of reference. We were good to go. And suddenly today, we have a whole lot of issues coming to participation.
That does not give you a right to insult members of this committee, because you have made statements here which you can't explain yourself. What do you mean when you say there are members in this committee who do not have interest of South Africans at heart? There are members in this committee with mouths full of teeth. This is inappropriate. In as much as you strongly have views that you may want to express, we have always given you a chance to speak in these meetings. And at no stage or at any moment have we ever expected any member of the committee, when they speak, to belittle other members of this committee, who are expected to be honorable members of the Parliament of the Republic. Honorable Vessels.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me firstly speak to the first issue. I agree with other members, and we should never allow classification to be a bar to finding the truth. And if that is abused in that way, we should get better clarity. And I agree with getting the chairperson involved, and also getting further clarification and also a legal opinion on that. Then with regards to the alternate members, let me just firstly put the record straight. I did attend, Chairperson, each and every meeting of this committee. I fell off at the last meeting on last Friday. At a stage, I lost connectivity and I struggled to get back in. But for all the other meetings I did attend. In the very beginning, I did raise a point, and that point was now repeated by the Chief Whip, actually word for word, because that was my stance. And I know I'm pedantic, but I said that I am cautioning you, Chairperson, that when decisions are made in the committee, it would harm the integrity of the process to allow alternate members, who is non-voting members, to participate in such decision-making. And that is why I did not. And up until now, Chairperson, all the committee, the work the committee has done was, in actual fact, voting and decision-making, the adoption of the terms of reference, the adoption of a program, and it was questions that were considered in each meeting. And I did not feel it proper at all for, as a non-voting member, to participate. That was my stance, and it remains my stance. And that is what the rules also say. In terms of the composition of this committee, as it was put now, I'm the first alternate, and then Action SA is the second alternate. In terms of this meeting that we are currently in, as the honourable souls are not present, if there were a decision to be made now, I would vote on behalf of the smaller parties or the other parties, as one of those members are not present. So I think we are all clear on the rules and how that works. I also think that we should be aware of the fact that the rules also allow for any member of parliament to participate in any committee. And that is not, that also includes ad hoc committees and has also been the practice. But saying that, obviously, it would be impossible practically if 400 members comes to this ad hoc committee and wants half an hour to interrogate a witness. That's why a chairperson has discretion to then practice that discretion. And I would be comfortable, chairperson, if we are not afforded the same time as permanent members. But I do believe that you would afford us an opportunity to ask a few questions of our own. And I believe that you will afford us that opportunity. But I believe that it is in the sake of progress and practicality that each member that attends a committee cannot be afforded the same time as permanent members. It won't be practical. I made that point in the very beginning with regards to procedure and the legality and decision making, and it was repeated now. But thank you, Chair.
Okay, no, thank you so much. I have taken the full round of contributions. I see Honorable Nomvalo and Honorable Shongwe's hands are up. I will give them 1 minute each.
Yeah, no, I will confine myself within that 1 minute, I promise. I just want to amend a little bit my submission on this discussion, which I made. At the conclusion of my submission, you asked whether I agree with a view that members, alternates, must have restrictions in terms of questioning witnesses. Chair, after applying my mind correctly and as a collective, our view is that on questionings, there must be no restrictions because questioning does not amount to voting. It amounts to participation. Like it's a normal practice even in committees. When there are departments, there are officials of the departments, there are no restrictions for alternates. And two, when there are committees, when we interview people to be appointed in certain bodies, there are no restrictions that are imposed. So I think that would be, Chair, against the rules. So we say the rules must be applicable as they are. Thank you very much.
Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you, Chair. I'll also keep into his cut. Chair, I think Ubaba Nomvalo has covered me, but I just wanted to say, for us to not further waste time, Chair, the rules that we are following and that we adhere to are from Parliament pertaining alternatives. So I think we should stick to that. An alt is allowed so much as every member line up. The only thing that is different is voting. And I think it's the system how, Chair, you ran this. Before, yes, it worked for all of us where you say ANC, MK and all that. But it does have some elements of as if we are voting. But I think now, Chair, going forward, when it comes to that system should be used when you are voting. But in terms of participation, I don't see a need of being restricted or restrictions. It's the same thing that happens from other committees, and it should happen here. We are only guided by the parliamentary rules, and that's it, Chair. I think we should stick to that. Thank you. We shouldn't be making our own rules and how we feel about who else is superior to who. That's it, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable members, what I hear you saying is that let us adhere to the rules.
Sorry, Chair. I thought you saw my hand. My hand was up with those 3 hands already. You missed it.
Oh, yeah. No, I moved my my screen up and it only
What if
reflected.
it was not up, say? What if it was not up? Chief Whip.
No, I won't lie. I won't lie,
We are
Honorable.
being abused by the ANC on this platform, Chief Whip.
Can be somebody else in the meeting who can independently verify that it was really up.
Nah, it's
Chief
fine.
Whip,
It's fine, Chief.
Chief,
I'm joking.
Chief
Yeah.
Whip, I see that your hand is up, and I'm restricting you to 1 minute.
I know. I respect that, Chair. I think, Chair, firstly, I want to thank you for protecting us from Honorable James, because I really felt that we were not just being abused, but we're being insulted. And I don't think that is fair for us to be treated with disdain in a committee of parliament. So I'm very happy with the way in which we intervene on that issue. The second issue, Chair, I am still of the view that you see, there is another dimension here that, Chair, we may not have to settle it today, but please, you'll guide us in the future meetings. The other parties are represented by two members. That is Honorable Mngwango and Honorable Souls. I've just heard now Honorable Vessel says, for instance, he makes an example, and I agree with him, that in the absence of Honorable Souls, he was then going to be the one who's going to vote. We are not aware of that. We know that there's Honorable James in the meeting as well, and so is Honorable Vessels. But we don't know what is their sequence in an event where one of them is not there. So I want to suggest that maybe you and the team must apply your mind on this matter, because I'm still convinced that in an ad hoc committee, it is a special mission. It can't be correct that the players who are in the starting lineup must be afforded the same privilege, exactly the same with those who are in the reserve. But I want you to look at that. If the rules are saying everybody must get 30 minutes, and that's what it says, it's okay. We'll abide.
Your 1 minute is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Honorable.
that was 2 minutes.
We
Sure.
have concluded this round of discussions. What honorable members are saying is that we are going to adhere to the rules. Of course, we are rational and reasonable human beings. That is the understanding that that I have. We cannot rewrite the rules here. But look, we can't be unkind to each other. But even when we exercise that attitude, we must be reasonable, and reasonability will have its own limitations, which I think honorable members will understand as and when an action is reasonable or unreasonable. And then the last matter, Chief Whip, I think the team will go and prepare the rubric of representation in the manner which outlines how many members each party has, who is the alternative for the ANC, who is the alternative for the MKP, the DA, the EFF, and who is the alternative for the IFP, and who alternates for the PA. And if there is a need for a narrative to say, for instance, in the case of the IFP and the PA, if so and so is unavailable, this is the member who will vote in their place. I think that should be prepared and circulated. It does not even have to wait for the meeting. It should be circulated amongst the members. And then I'm going back to a matter which was raised by Honorable Mattheis and Honorable Malema on the additions to the list. There have been suggestions that we add the head of the NP Now, the Director of Public Prosecutions is the head of the NPA, Ms. Badoi, and the Inspector General of Intelligence. So if members agree, the technical team will then add them to the list and schedule them for consultations. And without even taking a rotation, I will only check if there is any member who is opposed to the technical team starting to schedule consultations with those identified heads. Any objection to that? I'm going through. I'm going through the list. I'm not seeing any hand that wants to object. So my take is that the meeting agrees to the additions and the recommendation is duly accepted and adopted by the meeting. And I want to thank the honorable members for these progressive suggestions as it helps the technical team to do its work without any respite. Bonani, that must have been the last item on the agenda, except for closure.
Yes, Chairperson, that's correct.
Honorable members, the next item on the agenda is closure. I'm taking this opportunity to thank you for your frank deliberations and the progressive contributions that you have made in this meeting. We should be able to inform you about the date of the next meeting. Thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Chair. Goodbye, colleagues.
Recording stopped.